I'm Eric Loy, and welcome to Eric Loy Interviews. On this podcast, we talk with folks from the VTuber community on their channels, their talents, their stories, where they come from, and their plans for the future. We are joined by Raumentonus. Hi.
Hello. Thanks for having me.
I appreciate you coming on. Please introduce yourself to everybody.
Yeah, sure. Hello. For those that may not know who I am, my name is Raumentonus. I'm a Makoti VTuber on Twitch.tv, and I'm a variety gaming streamer.
Mm-hmm. And please explain to the folks who don't know what Makote is.
Yeah, sure. So, if you play the hit MMORPG Final Fantasy 14, they're the feline race as one of several you could choose in the game. My model is based off of my personal Final Fantasy 14 character, just with a few obvious cosmetic differences, but it is based off of that. So
have you played all the Final Fantasies?
Not all the games, but I have played from like A Realm Reborn all the way through Dawn Trail. So I'm pretty, except for like the latest 7.1 update. I haven't played that yet, but I'm pretty up. I pretty much played through like all the major stuff and whatnot so far.
So I could say you're a fan.
Yeah, kind of. Yeah, I mean, I started playing with my girlfriend earlier in the year, and I've been hooked ever since. So I've enjoyed it.
Yeah, that's cool. That's cool. So when did you get started with the VTuber thing?
Actually it was back in August of 2024. I started back streaming in March of 2023 with a webcam and everything, and I've been streaming. I streamed for a little over a year with that. Then I took a 4 to 5 year hiatus for like work and IRL reasons, and then when I was thinking about like coming back to streaming and whatnot, when everything kind of settled down, I was like, do I want to do webcam again, or do I want like try something different? And at work, I was watching a bunch of different VTuber clips and whatnot, and like just clips of like, solo stuff as well as like collab stuff. And I'm like, you know what, that looks fun. And it seems like they make a lot more friends a hell of a lot faster than with an IRL cam. So right. I was just like, you know what, yeah, I'll try it, see what happens. And so I decided I asked an artist on Fiverr to like make me a PNG model like quickly, and they were like, okay. So they made one, and then I swapped to that, went live, and I've been VTubing ever since then. So
yeah. So did it come easy to you since you've already been streaming before to jump into it, or was there a little bit of difference?
I mean, the only real difference was that I felt more like calm in myself, just because like before with a webcam and whatnot, I was feeling kind of a little apprehensive, like maybe a little like just because like like people are actually looking at you, and it's like, if you pick your nose, people are gonna see. If you like have to cough your lungs out, people will see that. But with like a model, it's like, oh hey, they could just look at this, and like they won't know what I'm personally doing.
That's right.
And whatnot. It's like it takes a lot less eyes off me personally, and it allows me to just feel more relaxed and like more myself. I don't have to like try to like act or like sit a certain way, whatnot.
Yeah. You can just lounge around. You can be laying on the floor as far as anybody else knows at that point.
Pretty much, yeah, and as far as everything else goes, like everything else just pretty much just came back to me naturally, So just a regular stream,
Yeah. Well, since you brought it up about the meeting people and collaboration, that type of stuff, has that come easy for you?
It depends. Like if it kind of sort of depends. Like sometimes it is just because like I'm a part of some like of like independent VTuber groups, so like just talking with them and like trying to do collabs with them, like it's easier. But in terms of like like out in the wild and whatnot, like in the social space and whatnot, it's still a little tricky just because of just general social anxiety and whatnot. And it's just like you don't know, like, are they gonna be like, oh yeah, hey yeah, I'm absolutely, or are they gonna be like, sorry, you're according to the charts, numerically you still suck, so I want nothing to do with you. So it's just like you don't know how many prioritize big numbers or like their own friend groups or what have you. It's just So with other, so like independently outside of groups, it's like a little more trickier. But I'm trying to like work up towards it just to be like just to see how that goes.
Well, yeah,
But
it
it
is.
is easier in groups.
Yeah, it is kind of the Wild West when it comes to that in some ways because you really don't know what you're getting into. I mean, even if you've watched them stream, you would have no idea how you're going to interact with them or how it's going to mesh
Y-
together once you get on them with them.
Yeah, yeah. It's like a lot of people like to do like vibe checks with them, like like just to make sure, like like personality wise, like will they like mesh well, or like like just like no
Hmm.
real major issues or
Yeah.
anything that might conflict with it. So I
Yeah.
mean that's understandable too.
Oh yeah. Sometimes it just goes really well, and you just click, and sometimes you can get the two most popular people together, and they could not get a word in edgewise between the two of them. It just doesn't work, and there's nothing. There's nobody's fault in that. It just that's what happens sometimes. Um,
Yeah, I mean, yeah, that definitely happens.
yeah, I mean, you look at the sports analogies. You can get a lot of people you think are great players, but they don't work together well for some reason. If you've got all, if your team is entirely made out of baseball teams entirely made out of pitchers, you're not going to win
Right,
unless
yeah.
they're like Shohei Ohtani, but that's a different. We're talking a different planet when talking to him. Um, but it does really, and also it reflects on you too. If you get somebody online and you find out later that they're not exactly a great person, then you kind of get painted a little bit by that brush too.
Yeah, it's yeah, it definitely. Thankfully I haven't come across that yet. Thankfully, like I made sure like everyone is usually very. I'm usually very chill, relaxed kind of person. So like I'm not hard to get along with by any stretch of the imagination. But there are that, but it is still you do have to make sure like everyone like does interact well, and like like everyone's chill,
Hmm.
because like you said, there might be someone that might like come along, might screw something up, or not screw up, but uh they might do something or say something or not, or it might be this and that, and like to some degree you're associated with that forever, so you
Oh
just
yeah,
gotta be
yeah,
just gotta be careful of like who you interact with, and just make sure you mesh well together before you like go too far, and
yeah,
like
yeah. It's still well. Everybody has to remember that there's a lot of fun involved too. It's still your brand when it comes down to it. What you put on to for other people to view. Your company basically is what you put out there for people. And
mhm.
if something doesn't look good, then it's going to come back on your quote unquote brand. Now it sounds like marketing, but that's what it is. um, Sometimes, uh, and you really do have to pay. I'm thinking of maybe starting up a registration, some type of registration for everybody, so people can look up and see the criminal backgrounds of every VTuber. Although, I don't. Some of you guys, I don't want to know. I don't need to know everybody's criminal background. Thank you very much. And then they start looking into mine, and then it's really going to be bad all the way around. But with for you, you've been able to keep up with chat as well while you're doing this.
Yeah, like of course, like not just VTubing, but like just streaming in general. Like it's important to like engage with like chat and whatnot. Like even if like it's full of lurkers and like you're the only one really talking, like it's important to like
Hmm.
like oh interact and like talk like as if like you're telling them something, or like like explain something to them about a game or whatnot.
Hmm.
Um, I do that a lot. I've been doing that a lot for like over a year, so like
Yeah.
it's easy for me. What the real challenge is trying to like keep finding something to talk about,
Mm.
because eventually, like other than like what's going on in the game or what have you, like you're gonna run out of things to talk about, and then it's like, well, what do you do? Do you just like listen to music and then go like boo, ba-doo, ba-da, boo, boo, ba-da, boo, or do you, or it like depending on what's going on, but it's like I it does help when people are like typing in the chat, but it's like, of course, they're never required to. It's never a requirement, but
Right.
it's just at that point, like, okay, how can I keep like, going? How can I, keep talking, like engaging with the channel and whatnot, and usually explain what's in the game, what's going on in the game usually helps, or like making dumb jokes or what have you. But
Oh
it
yeah,
sometimes it can be hard.
yeah, yeah. It depends too, and imagine there's some games that make it very very tough for you to get chat involved. If you're elbows deep in a game that you can't take your eyes off the screen, it's pretty tough to deal with chat, I would imagine.
Yeah, sometimes it can, like, if like, again, love lurkers. Not lurkers are like, oh, they're always the backbone, so I love them. But like, if there's like a whole bunch of them, it's just like, okay, well, how do I keep all of you entertained without like repeating myself too much? Guy.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, well, I mean, in any entertainment industry, in any broadcast type of industry, and I consider this a broadcast. I don't know whether anybody else does, but I do. Sooner or later, you're going to have to talk in circles, and that used to have to do that in radio, where it would be 2 minutes until a newscast came up, and we have nothing else to put in, so we start talking in circles, and we try to keep about a 40 second. Then we say it in a slightly different way. Then we say it in a slightly different way, and then finally it comes to the top of the hour. Time for news. Goodbye. Bing. Time for news. And eventually you're going to have to come up with something to fill that time. But if you have a schedule, if you have a um, uh, just a kind of a list of things to promote, you can always go back and read those over, if nothing else. Or like if you have a YouTube channel to promote, or you have a VODs channel to promote, you can say, well, you says if you want to take a look at some of the older things, you can go back and look at this. Um, but again, I tend to think that's more of an advanced thing for folks, sometimes with it. So what do you consider your channel right now? Are you someone who's going to be trying to make this your full time job? Is it still a hobby? What is it for you?
God, God, I wish. I'm I'm definitely, well, my end game is definitely hoping making it like a full time thing, and like, like make a good living on it to support my girlfriend and myself. Like
Mm,
that is the end goal. But for right now, it is more so of a hobby. But I am like trying to I'm doing my best to grind it as much as I can
mm-hmm.
with using guidance and like research, my personal research, to try to like try to make it a full time thing. Like obviously, like I'm still relatively new, only doing it for like over a little over a year, then taking a 4 or 5 month break on it. I'm basically starting fresh again in August,
Right.
essentially. But yeah, like I do want to do this full time because I this is something I'm very extremely passionate about and whatnot. Like I don't want to do anything else with my life other than this, but of course have to, bills, rent, all that fun stuff. But
All that stupid
you
stuff.
know, yeah, all that stupid adulting stuff, yeah.
Yes.
But yeah, I hope someday, like, it'll be a full-time successful thing. I'm hoping.
Yeah. So, as you say, to doing research, what type of research are you talking about?
So a lot of it is basically, a lot of it is mainly just me looking up like different ways to like increase engagement on Twitter without engagement baiting, because you see that a lot, like on Twitter especially, not so much on Blue Sky, sometimes on Blue Sky, but on Twitter especially, because that's how it is now, is people like using engagement bait, such as like, hey, I'm shy but I'm looking for friends, like reply if you want to be friends and whatnot. Like I did a couple of those, like, yeah, I want to be friends. They never replied back, so it's like, oh well, okay. And you just see a bunch of those,
Yeah.
and it's like, like I'm sure like some of them are legit, but at the same time it's like, because of how the algorithm works and like so many people doing it, it wouldn't surprise me if like the bigger VTubers are also doing it, just because it's like, ooh, this will make my stonks go up.
Yeah.
So it's just like, so it's just, they do that. And
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
so it's mainly just me looking up ways to like, how to be like, get more engagement without having to resort to that, different keywords to use on like Twitch tags,
Yes.
things around that nature, just kind of like small minute things that I could improve on and whatnot, just to kind of like, make myself like 1% improved over
Yeah.
like next day incrementally.
Yeah. 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 It sounds a lot like the marketing things we used to have to do in radio. I mean, sometimes you have things like positioning statements, which when you think about the putting that together sounds really stupid. Positioning statements, what the heck does that mean? But you talk about where are you going to be at in your market? What is your audience going to be? Where is that audience going to be where I can attract them? What will attract them to my type, and what do I need to change to attract that sort of thing? There's always going to be, for people who really want to expand what they're doing in this field, I think anyway, you do have to adopt some type of marketing skill.
Yeah, yeah, and then yeah, and like in the same vein, it's like when it comes to like streaming, since like a bunch of people are doing it, you have to you have to like find like something that'll help you like similarly stand out and like find like a neat like kind of like a niche sort of thing, like something that maybe like a little bit unique or something that has been done before,
Yeah,
like to
yeah,
reach that audience, and it's kind of the same thing.
yeah. And but once you get that audience there, you still have to hook them in and keep them. You have to bring them
Yeah,
in the boat.
yeah,
We used to say that in
exactly,
radio,
yeah.
bring them in the boat. But you have to bring them in because it's still going to come down to how you interact with people and your own personality and all of that. Because you can run a store can run all the sales at once, but if it's got bad customer service, nobody's going to come to it. Um,
Yeah.
and
Yeah,
it
exactly. Yeah.
and if you're going on and you have this and that giveaway, you got codes to give away or something. People show up for the codes, but they think that but you treat them badly and you don't pay attention to them, they're not coming back. And
Yeah.
you want to have people come in and stay. And in
Or
radio,
if like or if like if you run out of Steam codes and it's like, oh, you're out of codes? Oh, that's a shame. Bye.
yes, bye. Oh, you're not doing this anymore.
Bye.
I mean, if anybody's worked in retail, they know how that goes. I mean, somebody could say, "Oh, this coupon isn't good anymore." Okay, bye, and just leaves everything there and takes off. Or the pizza place. Oh, you're not doing the pizza thing, and okay, we didn't buy. That's the way some of the folks are. But again, you got to wonder: are those the folks you really want to have in your audience? Because they're really looking for the fly by night deals.
Yeah, yeah. Like I'm pretty sure like in radio, like in every Twitch channel, there's always gonna be people that's like there's always gonna be like a select portion of your audience that's they're only there for like some sort of personal gain, whether
Mm,
it's like like giveaways or a free like occasional deals or like giveaways on G Fuel, G subs,
yeah, yeah,
whatever
yeah,
that is.
yeah.
Like acknowledgement, it's like they're always there for like some sort of personal gain and they're not there for like you
Right,
like not for you or like just you in general,
right,
like
right. Yeah, well,
and in the same vein, they could only be there for like, a certain game, which is fine,
yeah. Oh, yeah. Well,
kind of similar.
that's one thing. That's one thing. I mean, you have some folks who just hop around for the games, but again,
Yeah.
you could watch somebody play Minecraft on probably I don't know how many people at once on Twitch at any particular
Yeah.
time of the day, but they come back for the person playing it, and
Yeah,
and
yeah,
that type
exactly.
of
Yeah.
setup. Now it is a little different in the radio and television deal because radio and television would do contests for people to show up during the ratings periods because we had like Nielsen ratings and whatever ratings. We could push people up in that, and it didn't really matter what they did after the ratings. We just needed it for that ratings. You don't really have a ratings thing for VTubers unless you're counting like Twitch affiliate type things, where you kind of need to push those numbers up a little bit.
Yeah, that or if like you're doing like a partner push or something like that,
Mm.
then that's then people usually like look at the numbers there and like try to do that whole thing.
Yeah, figure out some way around it, like they would in a video game. How can I game this where I can get the numbers without doing any work at it?
How
Well,
many
maybe,
how many games can I give away and be like, hey, you want this game? Follow and watch my channel.
yeah, yeah. This game I got for free. You can have it now if you
I'm
spend
I'm
$5. Yeah,
Yeah, and I mean like I mean, inherently, there's like nothing wrong with that. It's just like if you overly rely on it as like your main way of like getting people to come in and watch, then it's like
No, yeah, yeah,
you know.
yeah, and it's
But
always
occasionally, it's fine.
in it's that's promotion. That's one thing, but relying on it for
Yeah,
your entire audience is going to be is problematic in the long run
yeah.
at best. Now, when I tune into one of your streams, what am I usually watching?
Usually me just bumbling around. All right, so, so basically, it
We'll
kind
put
of
that in the
varies.
promo.
Usually me sucking at some game, but basically my content again, like it mainly focuses on variety gaming. So it's usually a different game every night that I stream, but
Mm,
that's kind of like what I decided to do that just to kind of like, this, because if you focus on one game, then you're gonna potentially be burnt out on that one game. So
right.
it's better to like, keep it varied. And me personally, I have a large game library, streaming kind of also gives me an excuse to go through my backlog, just to try out different games, see what I like, see what's like, ooh, okay, I kind of like this. Um, so it's just mainly that, and it's just it's both old and new games,
Yeah.
So it's like, it could be as old as like a PS1 game or something like that, to like the newest thing like on Xbox Day One Game Pass.
Yeah.
And I also do like a fun thing. I also like do fun little challenges with some games that I play, like randomizers,
Oh yeah.
crowd controls, with Cuphead. You probably
Oh,
you I, if you've seen any of those like crowd controls with Cuphead, where it's just like, you're doing well and then someone pays like a bunch of coins and just kills you outright. You have to
yeah.
restart the whole fight again.
Oh,
I,
that's
I like to do fun things like that.
wow. I mean, you having crowd control on Cuphead. I mean, why don't you just run through a minefield? I mean, that's
I mean,
it's
careful, they might
yeah, I know. I mean,
they might pay you to do that.
that's right. It's tough enough to do that game without you have to be so precise and exact with it that just one little bit and you've flown all the way back. So there's no saves and all that. Oh, that would be rough.
Yeah.
That would
Although they could also be nice and be like, okay, complete the level for you, or hey, have some more hearts or
yeah
increased power. And I'm like, wow, thanks.
yeah. Thank you. And if you don't thank them enough, then they kill you.
Yeah. It's like, all right, buy more bits, buy more coins, kill them outright.
Yeah, I see people. Some folks have done that with like Cult of the Lamb. Um,
Oh yeah.
they did crowd control with that, and they just get massacred. they're they're
Yeah,
not helping
I
them
do
at
want to
all.
try. I do want to try Cuphead because I do want to play more games with like Twitch integration, but
Yeah.
that involves like having an audience to, like, interact with and whatnot, and do things for that. So I want to build up my audience first before I do that.
Mm.
But I do want to do some more Twitch integrated stuff because it does look fun.
Oh yeah, yeah. I mean, as long as you're not hoping to win.
Oh no. I mean, I can hope a little bit, but
Yeah,
the main hope is that everyone's having fun.
yeah. Well, that's the biggest thing. You got to have fun with it,
Yeah.
and even though you're putting work into it, it sounds like you're having fun with it.
Oh yeah. I mean, at the end of the day, I'm still playing video games and whatnot. Like at the end of the day, it's just like it's just a little more involved and whatnot. Just because you have people watching, you're doing things. It's like, okay, I'm gonna do this and this for this game and that game. It's like it just has like a couple more extra steps in it. But at the end of the day, like you have to make sure like overall you're having fun with it. That
Hmm.
you're not like uh you're dreading hitting the live button or anything like that, because at the end of the day, like it's until like it becomes a more serious thing and like you make it like a living livelihood off of it, like you should always treat it as like a hobby sort of thing,
Yeah,
like don't treat it as like, okay, I'm gonna hit live, people better pay me money, or I'm gonna complain on my twitter.com.
yeah.
It's like
Uh, I'm gonna
you should
complain
always
and on all of the things, and I'm gonna whine about it on a TikTok and all this stuff. No, don't do that. Don't do that.
I invested in this hot anime model. Why aren't you throwing money at me?
I
I
don't
paid
have.
good money for this model.
I live out of my car now. Okay.
I live in a van down by the river.
That's
Thanks
right.
to you.
but my model is great. I don't have
Yeah,
a
it has a twitchy eye, but
yeah,
listen.
yeah. It's well, we're trying to save up for that. Okay, it's
Yeah,
either that or gas to get me through
sub
the
to,
winter.
sub to me so I can get a better model.
That's right. Well, I mean, you see plenty of that, but a lot of that too kind of develops on how you get your chat. I imagine. I mean, the type of supporters you get because not everybody's going to have money. And
Yeah.
I hope people realize that you don't necessarily have to, you know, uh, tip everybody like you would a dancer at a go-go bar, you know.
Oh no, no. Like
But
it's but yeah, it's like, someone should never feel pressure to like pay someone on the internet money just because it's like, hey, I'm entertaining, pay me money, it's like
Mhm.
it's more so like it's just a way like, like obviously of course like focus on you and make sure you're financially comfortable, secure enough first, like, bills, rent, make sure that you're taken care of first.
Mhm.
If you have some like left over that you feel comfortable, like, like if you do like a content creator streamer and you do want to like show them some kind of like just be like, hey, I appreciate you and I want to help, I want to support you a little bit, then there's you're welcome to like leave a little tip if you like, but
Yeah.
definitely never feel pressured and like, I mean, hell, like you could tip me like a penny and I'd be like super appreciative of it, like
Mhm.
it's never it's you should if you stream you should be in the mindset of like, like again, this is for fun, like, but if
Mhm.
people like, like if people are willing to like they do want to like tip you or whatnot, like feel free to like have like for me, I have like at least a couple of different ways that you can like tip and whatnot,
Yeah.
various different like affordable, options and whatnot. But it's like,
You have
you know,
monthly payment plans, and you
yeah,
should
it's
sign
if
the house over.
give me a Prime sub. Which if you use Amazon Prime, I mean you do have a free sub, so it's just like like twitch.tv/Raumentonus. Thank you,
Yeah.
but like you do have a free sub right there, so I mean you could like use that as well for your favorite streamer as well, but
Oh yeah.
primarily like make sure you're financially stable and secure first before you tip anyone.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's a way to support people, but also just coming on and there's a lot of ways to support performers, no matter where they're at.
Oh yeah,
Again, it's tell them what they're doing right. Tell them what you
fun. Yeah,
enjoy. That there's no
yeah.
there's I mean the money is something, but if you tell somebody that you've been lurking now for 3 months and you've not missed a stream and you've enjoyed everything and that's got to put you through the roof.
Oh yeah, like and you know what else is free? Following people on social media, retweeting their tweets,
Mhm.
liking them, like all that's free. They don't require anything. Twitch.tv/Rontotos. But like there's like, but yeah, you could absolutely like support other like all sorts of creators for free and whatnot. So you absolutely don't have to pay it like if you like can't afford it at all or you don't want to.
Yeah.
Like it's 100% completely optional.
Yeah. One of the things I point out too is that while there's some parallels to like radio TV stations and what you guys are doing, um, when you talk about a radio market, there's a very um, there's a finite number of people that they're going after, and there's a flat pie that gets split up in a bunch of ways. You guys have a almost infinite possibility of listeners and watchers because anybody who has a phone across the planet could be watching you at any time. Um, so you're not really dividing an audience as much as you're just gathering more people into you. There is a little bit of difference to that, but so far, where is your audience coming from? Are you getting the overseas folks?
Um, basic in terms of like overall audience right now, it's like realistically, it's again, it's like not very much mainly because it consists of mainly friends and whatnot that I made over Discord, but
Mhm.
main honestly, like a lot of them come from like if I had to like wager, I guess like a lot of them come from like Discord communities I've joined in and whatnot, but a lot of them like stream themselves on Twitch as well. So I like to think that a majority of them come from Twitch, but I also like multi-stream myself on a VOD channel I have on YouTube, and I also multi-stream onto my Twitter.
Yeah.
So like I stream as well as on Blue Sky. So
Yeah.
I multi-stream my content out to like multiple different places.
There,
With
you
Twitch,
you can find you on your toaster if you look hard enough.
your Android fridge. I'm pretty sure I can figure out how to do that too.
Can you adjust the temperature on the fridge while you're there?
Yeah, let me just ask Bill Gates about that real quick.
Oh, no, really, you are on just about every media, and we'll have all those links, by the way, in the description for the interview. So, if you want to, you really want to check out to see what Roman is up to. This is you're giving yourself every opportunity for success. It looks like.
I'm trying to. It may not be probably not the most optimized way, but I'm doing it my way.
Yeah, yeah, and it's a way that you can do it and not take away from other things in your life while you're doing it. That's a tough thing to do.
Yeah, I try to because like I also work a full-time job on the weekdays and whatnot, so it's like, which thankfully like it's mainly in the morning through the afternoon, and so I like stream in the evening on those days. But it's like, like it's not for a lot of people. It isn't easy. Like you have to balance working full time, having IRL responsibilities, and streaming. And I'm not exactly perfect. I'm not perfect at it. I'm still not. But my girlfriend and I have like a better understanding of like how to like schedule around it and whatnot. So it's in a better place.
Yeah, yeah. But a lot of people who do these and have full-time jobs don't have a 9 to 5 type thing, or some of them are shift workers, and it moves around. That makes it almost impossible to keep a regular schedule. Have you been able to do that sort of thing so far?
Yeah, just because I have been, just because my job doesn't pull surprise schedules. It's always been a consistent Monday through Friday, 7 a.m. to 3:30 p.m. Like no, I don't work weekends at all, no hidden days or anything like that. It's strictly that and that only. So I'm lucky in that regard. Like it's a very solid work schedule with no surprises.
Yeah. Yeah.
Very solid.
Yeah. I mean, that's easier for you then to say 2 or 3 times a week. Say that just for example, I schedule this date and this date every week. Please tune in. You can make up schedules that way. It doesn't always work for some people, but it's always with this setup. There's so many different ways to do it, and so many different things to stream that it might as well be called Your Mileage May Vary, because of it. That's how widespread it is. How big the potential is.
Oh yeah, and like like it of course like it's always gonna like vary and depend on like different people, because their job schedules might be different, or like some, or like on like hopefully that's not the case, but like if something happens to you and you're like disabled and you can't work, then streaming is also a great way to like it's a great outlet to like build up a hobby, as well as potentially making a living off that, because like you have like just the name one on top of my head, like you have like one of the most popular ones, Iron Mouse, who has like who I think is I'm trying to think what they have, like, but basically like it involves their immune systems basically being like in the worst condition possible, and they need like plasma and like treatments like every now and then. Like they can't work a normal job, so streaming has been so they've been streaming for like a long time, and like like you can't go down Times Square without seeing like Iron Mouse's face like on a giant digital billboard now. Like like did you see that on social media, like on Twitter or something like that? Like
I did not
there
see
was
it.
There was like a big screen TV like promoting Twitch, and it had her face on there, and I was like, oh wow, it's like we're spreading, like both VTubers and like Twitch overall. It's like in Times Square.
Yeah,
it's
like one of those movies where the Big Brother takes over. Suddenly, Iron Mouse is on every screen.
It's gonna be the SA2 Snap Cube dub. I've come to make an announcement.
Well, that's really going on all media. That certainly expands your audience potential. That's,
oh, oh yeah, absolutely, yeah. But
that's
I mean, like, I mean, it just shows though, like, what was I talking about? Oh yeah, like depending on like who you are, or like if you're like have a weird ass job schedule,
mhm.
or like you're disabled to a point where you can't like work and whatnot. Like streaming is a good outlet, and it's very accessible to a lot of people.
Oh yeah, and we get a chance to see and hear the talents of so many people we wouldn't have before. And I tell this story a lot, but when I started in radio, it was 1984. And in 1984, I would not have been able to talk to someone who was sitting in Singapore for an hour or less about what they do. It would have cost $1 billion and would have sounded like garbage, and it wouldn't have been worth going on in the first place. But now I don't pay anything. I turn on the microphone, and there they are. It's we're blessed to be in that situation, and I certainly hope that we continue to be able to use it to hear what people have to say, because there's a lot of people, a lot of talented folks out there, that we need all we can get. I'm absolutely gluttonous when it comes to that stuff. I
Oh
want
yeah, like
I want everybody's talent.
absolutely. Like there's so many like whenever I just been like I click on like different channels, just kind of like just seeing who's who, where's where, and whatnot. And like there's so many like talented creators out there, and like so many people that are very passionate about what they do, but they're like stuck at the bottom of the barrel just because of the way the algorithms work and whatnot, or
Yeah,
just because they're not like the high end streamers and whatnot. But
right,
it's
right.
like, but a lot of I don't think a lot of people realize like or at least they say it is like if we all supported each other and like like lifted each other up, and like all just gave everyone like all the love and support that we give like the bigger creators, like all of us, there is no downside to it. Like not only everyone can benefit from it, like
Hmm.
it's just they just gotta give people a chance to actually like show what they could express what they can do, and just just share their talents and like passion to the world. You just gotta
Yeah.
give people that chance.
And with the type of audience that you're trying to reach, and I try to mention this, there's not a flat pie. It is a sphere of an
Mhm.
audience. So you don't have to fight against somebody else to get that audience. Radio stations in a market fight against each other to get that one person to turn the radio on. You guys don't have to do this. You guys work on your own. You don't have to tear anybody else down while you're doing it, and it's right on you, which I think right now makes it a little more wholesome. Well, a lot more wholesome. And even when you don't get paid, you get paid better than radio did.
I
Sometimes,
mean, I mean, it can, I mean, on one hand, yeah, but on the other hand, you also have to like, again, it's kind of like, it goes back to what we discussed earlier about, researching about like different metrics and whatnot, because it also depends on like, like in my personal case, I do variety gaming. So does like a whole bunch of other people. So
hmm
in a way, you do have to kind of sort of like compete to stand out
hmm
and whatnot, and kind of give people a reason to be like, okay, you're just another variety gaming streamer. Why should we tune into you when this person does it, but they also do this and that? It's kind
yeah,
of
yeah,
it in a way it is still competitive and whatnot. And then and then there's the whole what game you should play and whatnot, because especially like if there's like a big major release coming up with like let's say just for the sake of argument, and I'm not expecting this game to be immensely popular at all, but the new Assassin's Creed game,
right,
a lot of people because whenever a new like game like Assassin's Creed comes out, like every big streamer is usually playing it,
right,
that
right.
kind of thing. So it's just like, do you hop on that kind of that train as well, just to see if you can kind of get an audience, or meet a couple of new people here and there from a new game release, or do you keep doing what you do with your niche, knowing that everyone and their mom is going to be playing that new game, and everyone be like, there's like a whole bunch of people playing it. There's always going to be people playing it, but
Yeah,
it's like, but if you're playing something that they're kind of like, but they have like a like if they're feeling like they want to watch a certain game and you're playing that certain game, then there might be more inclined to also click on you. It's a whole thing. It's complicated, but
It's complicated.
it does exist.
Just folks, just support your favorite streamer. That's the best way to do it, and
Yeah.
support what Rama's got going, because there's a lot of things, and we've got all the links again in the description for this particular video. And again, thank you so much for coming on. We got to get you back on again. Have you got a big project coming up here soon?
Uh I don't have anything major, but I mean I'm doing I'm doing a thing for a fundraiser streamer tonight, but by the time this is posted, it's like sorry, too late. But but basically the only thing I can say is that I did update my model from like a PNG to kind of like a fun, what I would kind of classify as kind of like a hybrid between both a PNG and a GIF. But
Yeah.
it's like it's not really, but it's really cool the way that I did it. I also updated some awards, sub badges, all that stuff. But in terms of major things, I don't really have anything. It's just I'm just gonna get back into streaming. 2025 is gonna be my first year streaming as a VTuber,
Yep.
and if you liked hear me, cool. If not, I'm sorry. But if you want to hear more of me, then come check my content out. The link should be down in the description. So yeah,
Thanks so much for coming on.
yeah, thank you.
Thank you for listening to Eric Loy Interviews. Join us again next time when we talk to another member of the always interesting VTuber community.